Hello, I am that woman named Ivy, and you are watching The Will of God. Welcome, Red family. Yes, Red is standing for the blood of Jesus. I pray, hope everyone is doing great and well on this beautiful Thursday afternoon. I am doing great myself. I tried to do this video yesterday, but it just was not, it just wasn't landing. I tell you. And then in my defense, to be honest with you, I was tired, extremely tired. But I thought I could give it a shot, okay? Pretty much I was trying to, go for a shot in the dark, I guess you can say. But I was just too tired. I said, no, you got to use common sense. So let me just sleep this off and try it again the next day, which is today. But today was one of those days was where my patience was being tested. Now, before I had to make a phone call. Now, before I made the phone call, of course I prayed. And I said, Lord, I pray that the customer service that I talked to today, they would be pleasant, kind, patient and everything. And God delivered on that. He gave me just that. And everything was going well. But when I got off the phone, I had to look for some paperwork and whatnot. Couldn't find the paperwork. Now, I know for sure, no one can't tell me otherwise. I knew that I put the paperwork that I needed in my drawer. I go and look. I'm looking. I'm searching high and low. The paperwork is not there. I'm saying, what is going on? I just got so frustrated. And then I had to go and pull up some other paperwork on my phone. That was giving a hard time. The internet was acting up. I said, God help me. And I just had to take a breather. Let me say this before I go any further. Just because, you're a Christian, just because you are rooted and grounded in Christ, which is great. That's beautiful, perfect, good. Just because you have surrendered your all to the Lord and you believe in him, you believe in Jesus, you believe that he, was raised from the dead. I'm bringing it home. Just because you believe all of that, just because you have faith that things are going to work out, those type of things does not mean you're not going to be tested. Okay. It doesn't mean that you're not going to have one of those days where you're saying, Lord, please help me. Because right now I'm irritated. I am irritated, high and low, irritated, left and right, irritated. I turn around, I'm irritated. I turn to the left, I'm irritated. I scratch my shoulders, I'm irritated. Okay, maybe I wasn't that irritated. But you get what I'm trying to say, okay? Yeah. So I was irritated, okay? And finally, when everything was said and done, when the smoke has cleared, I found the papers that I needed and the paperwork that I needed that I was looking for on my phone. I found that as well, and all of my piles and stash of papers. So that was good. And I said, Lord, I thank you. I made another phone call. I got the information. I just had to make phone calls today. I got through. However, just going through the process, it was trying. I'm telling you, I can't explain it, not going into great details, but I can't explain it unless you have been there. Okay. But I remained calm. However, I was just so irky. My spirit was so irritated, but I feel much better now. As many know, trying to watch what I eat. Today was one of those days where I wanted to pig out. I promise you. I got irritated about that again. I said, here we go again. Got irritated about that. I went to the store because I had to get something from the store. And I see all this junk food and whatnot. And I looked, and actually, no, I picked up some chips and I picked up another snack. Now, these two combinations that was together, I would have to say 140. I would have to say close to maybe 500 calories, okay? For these two items, these two snacks that I wanted to eat. I don't even remember what, yeah, actually I do. I don't remember the names and stuff, what I picked up. I don't. I know it was Cheez-Its and some potato chips. I don't remember the name or anything like that. No, all right, Annie, cheese crackers, I think that's the name of it, and pop chips, something like that. So all of that together, was like maybe almost 500 calories. And I knew that I did not need that, okay? I knew that. Someone might say, well, you know what, you can cheat every now and then. The thing of it all is that I understand that, you don't have to deny yourself with certain snacks completely. However, I want to get into the habit of making healthier choices. And I'm going to be honest, that was not a healthy choice that I was making. It was either one or the other, but I wanted both, okay? That was where the problem came in. I wanted both snacks. I didn't want one or the other. I wanted both snacks. So I said, okay, no. I walked out the store, irritated. Did it to myself, irritated. I promise you. Anyone that looked at me, they probably would have said, oh, no. She looked like she's unapproachable. We're not going to bother that woman. Yeah. I was me mugging. I'm going to be honest. Yes, I was. I promise you. I was so irritated. I wanted to eat. Okay, and then I said, all right, let me go to the Chinese restaurant. I said, no, I don't need it. No, My dinner is already prepared for tonight. I prepared it yesterday and it's prepared for me to eat tonight. I have to stick to the matter at hand. I have to stick to what I set out to do. Okay? I don't want to, I didn't want to, yeah, anyway. So that was that, okay? But God got me through it. So what I did, I came upstairs and I had, I had a cheese broccoli, I had an apple, and just I cut up small, tiny sausage, okay? Just enough to fit in the palm of my hand. And that was it, and I ate that. So I'm good, okay. But yeah, that's what I was facing today, okay? So the point I'm making with the food, with the snacks, is that I want to make healthier decisions. That's what I'm trying to learn how to do, make healthy decisions. Like, for example, I can make homemade, what is it called? I can make homemade Reese's cup, okay? And I can use the dark chocolate. And it came out delicious. I loved it. I really do. I want to make my food, I want to make my snacks homemade, all right? And I want to substitute. Instead of having milk chocolate, I would have the dark chocolate. I might buy the cocoa starting at 70% and up. The more cocoa, the more the percentage of cocoa it is, the healthier it is. The only difference is the bitter the chocolate is. Now, I don't want 90%, I'm going to be honest. No, I can start with 70% and maybe 85%, okay? 80 to 85%. So, yeah, so I'm good with that. But that was what I was facing today. Yeah, but I got through it. God got me through it. I give all the praise and all the glory to the Lord. I truly do. I do. Now, with all of that being said, you would have thought that's what I was coming up here to talk about. No. That's not what I wanted to talk about. Now, that was not in my plan to talk about this yesterday because, of course, it didn't happen. But I just end up talking about it. It just fell in my spirit to talk about that. And I really pray and hope that it would, encourage someone, make someone laugh, and let someone know that we as Christians, we go through as well, okay? We go through as well. We get irritated. I promise you. Well, let me say this, okay? I got to speak for myself. Nowadays, you got to speak for yourself. I go through things, okay, and I get irritated many times. However, the tests come in. What are you going to do? Or how are you going to handle the test? I'll put it like that. The question comes into play, how are you going to handle that task, that situation that is coming your way, that you're in? You might want to just, tell someone a little something. And not about Jesus. It happens, okay? It happens. So, yeah. But I don't want to be like that. I really don't. And I ask the Lord to please help me. And we all need help. In one way or the other, we all need help. All right, moving on. But I honestly hope that, I either made you laugh just now or gave you something to think about. All right, manipulation. Okay. When God is in the mix, you do not have to manipulate anything. Okay? Now you might say, well, what do you mean by that, Ivy? I'll tell you what I mean. Okay, I'll give you an example. I was watching a movie, Christian movie some years ago, however long it was. I don't remember the name of the movie. I don't even remember the first letter the movie started with. I truly don't. But I do know what the movie was about. It was about a group of Christian men and women, okay? And they was Broadway actors and actresses. They did plays, all right? Every other night or every night, one of those. I don't remember. So it was this one guy that came to see the plays, however often they would, perform. And it's a good show. It's a good movie. Long story short, the guy, he wrote one of the actresses a note. And he left it where she was able to find the note. So she read the note and whatnot. She realized it was someone in the audience that really liked her and wanted to get to know her better. They started exchanging they started to exchange letters. He knew who she was, of course, and what she looked like, of course, because he's coming to see her in the play. All right? Every night, every other night, however it is. She don't know what he looked like, of course. So what they did was they had communication through the letters. Now, this one letter, second to last letter he sent her, the man said, look, I would love to get to know you on a better level, but I don't want to waste, no one's time. I don't want to be out of God's will or anything like that. I want to make sure this is God's doing, all right? I don't want to do anything of my own. So what I am saying to you, if this is God's will, then the lampstand would be in the play tonight, because sometimes the lampstand is in a play and sometimes the lampstand is not in the play, okay? They just didn't know when the lampstand is going to be in a play. They really didn't. So he said, look, if the lampstand is in a play, that means that God don't mind us meeting up. If it's not in the play tonight, if I don't see it in the play tonight, that means that God is saying, no, this is not it. No, y'all go your separate ways peacefully. Okay. Just because God say no to this man and that woman, getting to know each other, and of course, resulting in marriage, doesn't mean that man or woman is bad, but maybe that's not what the husband or the wife that God has for you or so. So she told maybe 2 or 3 of her co-workers about the letters. They knew about the letters, and she told her co-workers and said, look, he said he wanted to meet up, but he wanted to be God's will. If it's not God's will, the lampstand would be in the play tonight. If it is, then if the lampstand is in the play tonight, then that means it's God's will. If it's not, then it's not God's will. So he said, okay. So that, her co-workers was very hyped. She never told the director. The director, of course, tell them what to do, the writer and everything, whoever, whatever. And Oh, what's that noise? Oh, um, I apologize, Red Family. I think so. I think they start in a church service. Okay. I think they passing by. I apologize. I'm just trying to see if I could talk over them or not. Okay, sorry about that, Red Family. I apologize. I don't know if you heard someone talking very loud, like on a loudspeaker, but I didn't want to talk over that. But yeah, so anyway, so where was I? Lord Jesus, help me. All right, yeah, so she told her co-workers about the letter and whatnot. Now, the director said, all right, at first he said, okay, we're going to put the lampstand in the play tonight. And they was all hyped and everything. Then at the last minute, the director said, no, we're not going to have the lampstand. So the co-workers were saying, no, tell him, go to him and tell him you need the lampstand and the play tonight. She said, no, if he doesn't put it in there, then fine. If he put it in there, fine. After everything was said and done, the lampstand did not end up in the play. And that was a sign to him that God was saying, no, she's not the one for you. No, this is not going to go. I don't want it to go no further than what it is. Okay? So the co-worker said, well, why didn't you tell the director that you wanted the lampstand in the play? She said, well, when God is in the mix, you don't have to do all of those. Well, I'm paraphrasing. Because she was saying, well, when God is in the mix, you don't have to do all that foolery, okay? If God really wanted that lampstand to be in the play, it would have been in the play. That would have been a sign, okay? Yes, it's okay for you and her to, meet up and get to know each other. But I'm not going to manipulate a situation. When we go out of our way to try to manipulate a situation and try to put God's stamp and approval on something that he never approved, that is manipulation at its finest, all right? That is 100% manipulation. When God is in the mix, things is going to flow naturally, okay? When God is in the mix, you don't have to do all this trickery stuff. I'll give you another example. You have women, right? You have women, they dress provocative and whatnot, okay? And even though I never was the one to dress provocative or anything, I'm not saying I'm better than anyone. I'm trying to make a point. But you got to be honest with yourself and say that and realize that a lot of women, when they dress provocative, the boobs are showing, they showing all the curves and they showing everything, they dressing sexually. All right. You have to be honest that they're man hungry. Man hungry attention. Did I say that right? Hungry for men attention. That's the best way I can say it. That is manipulation. If I am a woman of God, okay, a woman of integrity, a woman that loves the Lord, I'm going to cover up. All right? And I'm not saying that you got to cover up to the point where, you have to dress boring. You have to dress old-fashioned. No, I'm not saying that. You got to go back to the 1600s. I'm not saying that. Absolutely not. I'm glad we don't have to wear those type of clothes anymore. But they was dressed, okay? They was dressed. They was decent and dressed, all right? So there are things that people do to try to manipulate a situation. I'm not doing that, okay? I am not doing that. When God, like I said before, when God is in the mix, you don't have to do all that foolery. It's going to just flow naturally. You don't have to, you don't have to, you don't have to stress yourself out. Now, the enemy might bring doubt to you, okay? And he might try to mess with your faith. He might try to say, okay, this and that not going to happen. But you're praying and you're crying out to the Lord, said, Lord, you got to help me. I need your help right now, Lord. I need you to step in. I need you to move in right now because I do not want to, I don't want to try to do your job for you. You don't need my help. I want to be in the place where you would have me to be. All right. So We got to be careful when we say that when God stamp and approval is on something. Absolutely not. If you had to lie to get that, that's manipulation. I'm not doing that. Absolutely not. I'm not doing that. We're not doing that. We don't have to do that, okay? If you have to turn someone against someone, if you have to come out of the will of God and his ways, that is manipulation. Yes, it is. And I'm not doing that. So I really hope and pray that I said something that has resonated with someone. I'm gonna get off this camera because I'm gonna be honest. It was from yesterday up until today. It's just been one of those days. So, all right. I'm about to get off of here because I'm getting very tired right now. I need to relax myself. Stay blessed, be blessed, and be about God's business. You can't go wrong. Okay, Red family, I'm back up here to make something crystal clear. Clear. See through clear. When I say a woman is trying to manipulate a man by coming out of her apartment half naked, I meant what I said, okay? You have a lot of women, they know exactly what they're doing, all right? You have women that use sex to get what they want from that man. They use certain words to get what they want from that man. They use their body to get what they want from that man. That is manipulation. Yes, it is. These women out here that's coming out half naked, and I do mean half naked. Like I said earlier, boobs pushed up, everything is tight and fitted on them. You know exactly what you are doing. You know that men are gonna look, okay? Men are gonna look. Let's just keep it real. They're gonna look. You got to be very careful with that. There's a lot of women that's out here that's hungry for male attention. And now you're going about getting that male attention in the wrong way. You're going to get the wrong attention because that man, 9 times out of 10, is going to want to take you to his bed. 9 times out of 10, he's going to want to take you home to his bed. He's not going to want to take you to his mother's house. He's not going to want to do any of those things. No. Nothing wrong with being approached by a man. But let him approach you because he sees something in you. He likes your personality, or he finds you very attractive or something like that. He likes the way you carry yourself as a woman. You're not out here flaunting everything. You're looking decent and nice in your clothes. So that's why I say that is manipulation at its finest. We got to do better, women. And we can do better. We don't have to show off everything. Let that be for your husband. Not boyfriend, not fiance, husband. Let that be behind closed doors for your husband. So I wanted to come up here and clear that up. Make that crystal clear. Very clear. See through clear. All right. Take care.